Hey, what's going on, guys? Hancha here, and once again we're going to do another video for Granblue Fantasy Versus. This time it's going to be a tier list. This is just going to be my current thoughts on the game. Like I said before, I'm not like the best player in the world, and some of my opinions will have to be from like matches that I've seen, because I have not fought against a player that has been a great player for every character, you know. So a lot of what I'm talking about is going to be from Japanese footage that I've watched, because in my opinion some characters are complete garbage, but other people are like, they swear they're good. So yeah. Okay, so let's start off first. Belial, obviously he's gonna be S+ tier no matter what. Okay, I don't know why is this character on this list. I think this is the list for all the characters. So okay, let's start with Gran. Okay, so for Gran, I'm going to put him in S. There's a reason I made S+ and S. So S+ characters that I think are way too good. S is characters that I think are way too good, but you can deal with a little bit better, and they kind of have to play the game a little bit, play other matchups a little bit, then play their own game plan. So yeah, so I'm gonna put Gran in this tier. I'm gonna say why a little bit later. So okay, so Lancelot definitely goes into S+. He has a full fighting game toolkit. He's really good in just about any space on the screen. So a full screen, he has EX Fireball to keep people in check, and his 6/6 is really good. Like the little rush move is really, his in particular is really good, especially for the type of character he is. So you know, his struggle is to get in, but you know, as like the ninja type character, that's not really a problem. So you know, he needs a weakness. His weakness is supposed to be bad normals, but he doesn't really have that as a big weakness because he gets in so easily. So yeah. Next would be Fairy. Obviously, she also goes into S+. People want to downplay this character. I do not know at all, like, why do people want to downplay Fairy? She is ridiculous. She is always going to be ridiculous. Just for this type of character to just fully control the screen, do a lot of damage, have good mix-up, like stronger mix-up than pretty much everyone in the cast. Like, let's be real here. Like, maybe Lancelot is the only one that can contend with her in mix-up. And yeah, she's like a zoning type character. So yeah, just the fact that her character concept is just overpowered just to begin with. She's also a character that continues to grow. So she's always improving. Like other characters obviously have a ceiling, like Gran. He obviously has like a bit of a skill ceiling that like, okay, I reached this point, now I'm just optimizing my play. Fairy is like, I'm still able to learn things. You know, that's the type of character she is. I'm playing this character, but I'm still learning things as I'm playing. So yeah, that's Fairy. Catalina next. Damn, all the good characters are right next to each other. Wow. Catalina's a really good character. I put her ahead of Lancelot and Fairy. And Fairy is kind of like equal to Lancelot, I would say. But yeah, so Catalina I put ahead of them because she's overall just the complete package, and really she can play anything in the game. She can play against any character. She can kind of rush down a little bit. She can do good spacing. She has a really good buttons, like just better than other characters. Doesn't really have a lot of weaknesses. Really hard to just like punish on anything. You know, she's that type of character. And she's just basic. So she has like the Shoto DP, okay, like the uppercut, the good fireball, really good fireball. We can't really punish it if you jump over it and everything. So yeah, she is definitely the full package. This is actually like my character archetype. Like Catalina is my character archetype, a basic character with good range. You know, those are normally like the ones that I do really well with. That's too much for a fighting character, of course. And her weakness is that she's not like super fast or anything like that. So, and that's about it. That's her only weakness. And that's Catalina in a nutshell. She's ridiculous. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Ladiva. Okay, Ladiva is a solid A+ tier character. This is a very solid character. Gets in without much issue because of the type of game this is. A lot of characters actually don't have normals that are like strictly superior to this character, and since movement speed in general is like a bit on the low side for this game, Ladiva does still feel like, you know, he's moving around pretty good for a grappler, you know. So that's about it for this character. There's not really much to say about Ladiva. Ladiva isn't really like bad in any way. Like, it's just just the slow movement, and maybe like not like the best anti-air in the world, you know, some like slightly weak tools that I feel like should be for this character. Like grapplers really should struggle against certain things. So yeah, that's how I feel. Definitely shouldn't be a character that gets buffed. Not at all. A+ tier is a really good spot. Next, I guess, well, Stories and Zeta just came out, so maybe I'll skip them until like the very end as like my predictions for where they end up. Let's go for Beelzebub. Beelzebub, I think, is A tier. A character with good strengths, solid game plan. I don't think a lot of strong players are actually like really messing with him. That's one reason why people, like the only people playing him are like people that would like downplay their character a little bit or like think their character is weak. I think Beelzebub has a full toolkit, and his weakness is definitely his damage output. Definitely not the best, and his slow movement isn't really all that great. So he does struggle against characters with a reversal that can be used as an anti-air, because that completely shuts down his little dive kick move. So that's how I feel about Beelzebub. Beelzebub isn't really like super strong or anything like that. Next, Matera. Matera definitely goes into A+. A character that has a very high skill ceiling for like just learning how to optimize every situation that you come across. Like Ladiva, just really good as a specialized archetype and doesn't really need to be buffed or anything like that. Matera did get a few quality of life improvements recently, and that was kind of like what I was thinking. Like she should get some quality of life improvements to make her game plan a little bit less stressful, to make some of her like good plays, like a good anti-air or anything like that, like make that more rewarding, or like make her reward like consistent for certain situations. Those type of issues I think she had. She just wasn't consistent in every situation. I've seen like top Matera players always dropping stuff. Her stuff should just work, you know, so sometimes she has that issue. I think they fixed that. All right, next we're gonna go into Beelzebub again. Apparently he's listed twice on this. Okay, just drop him back down. Vazaraga, B tier. Only one character is like B- tier, but B tier. You know, he's a little bit scary to deal with. You know, he does have good buttons that can work. Some characters are scared of what he can do. You know, for some characters, they just don't have like the proper buttons to deal with him. You know, sometimes he gets a free jump in at a certain distance. He's still a threat, but it's just that like these characters at the top kind of shut him down. Maybe not Gran, but like Catalina, Lancelot, and Fairy, I think just cleanly shut him down as a character. So, and that's like 3 characters out of like a very small roster, so that's very bad for him as a character. Ladiva apparently has issues with like top tier characters as well, but Ladiva is definitely much more consistent as a character and a bit more explosive. Vazaraga definitely doesn't really get too much that's really crazy or anything like that, so that's how I feel about Vazaraga. He's still not the worst character in the world, but he is definitely not the best. So yeah. Next, Charlotta. Okay, so Charlotta I would put also in the same tier as Gran. Definitely an annoying little munchkin. She gets in there, does a lot of chip damage, does a lot of damage in general. Her weakness is, of course, trying to get in, but of course she has like the best jump in the game. She has her little roly-poly move, really good. Obviously, you know, she has moves to get past her weaknesses. She's a very safe character. So some characters do have issues actually punishing her and getting like the proper reward off of her making mistakes. So that's the type of character she is, and I feel like that puts her in a solid S tier, a little bit more consistent of a character than the other ones, and definitely has that power to just explode the other character without much issue, and also like the best supers in the game. So that's how I feel about Charlotta. You know, besides Fairy has stupid supers like for utility, but for just consistent damage and just winning off of every situation, Charlotta is the one that you want to play. Zeta. Ooh, this is a tough one. I want to say A tier with Beelzebub, but I'm gonna say B. I'm gonna say B tier with Vazaraga. So, and she's definitely, I feel like she might be better than Vazaraga. Vazaraga is just able to like, in some matches, it may feel like Vazaraga just just like completely destroys opponents. Like, wow, this character's strong. I don't think that's the case, though. I think that's not the normal thing for him to do. But Zeta's definitely has like some unsafe approaches to use. Good tools like that really do work, but at the same time, she's not really getting rewarded off of it. Once she gets you like in her little knockdown situation, I feel like that like knockdown where she like does a pogo stick thing on you, I don't feel like that's like a super strong mix up. Really, it's just like a slightly extended safe jump in a way. Like, she does get a safe jump off a lot of situations, but I don't think that's really the best way to say like a character's good for getting safe jumps. You know, has good normals. Her light normals could be a little bit better. Good normals, obviously all her stuff and Vazra, they got buffed just now, so I'll move their placement after this is over, but overall they just have a few issues. Let's go next to Percival. Percival is a solid A tier character. I feel like he is really good, but he works a little too much, like just because he has to do that little charge thing. He has a lot of things that are definitely just unsafe to jump ins, so that's kind of like how I feel about the character. Of course, he does have moves that are easy to whiff punish, but at the same time, his normals are so big that you really shouldn't be whiffing. He could definitely do some really interesting things with his command dash and his like command grab. I do think he has a solid toolkit, but I don't think it's enough to contend with, you know, the characters above him on the tier list. You know, I don't think he's as effective and he's not as consistent. So yeah, that's how I feel for Percival as a character. He is definitely, it's not like he's working hard or anything like that. It's just that his full toolkit is locked behind a mechanic, and even with that mechanic, he's still not all that super impressive, you know? So yeah, Lil Wayne, definitely the worst character in the game. Just keep it that way. He does not have like really good buttons to use in neutral. He doesn't have like super good rush down. He's mostly just running with gimmicks and unfamiliarity with like the character matchup. So if you don't play against Lil Wayne, you probably won't really know how to fight him, and you won't have like an idea of what he is doing. But then like once you do play consistent Lil Wayne, you'll be like, okay, I finally understand this character. I don't really have to struggle too hard fighting him. And yeah, that's kind of how he ends up. Hopefully he stays that way. I do not want him to be changed. And then the final one, Narmaya, this character I put her in a solid A tier. Like I said, I think she is really good. I think she is a solid character. Obviously, you know, the Beelzebub and Percival tier, good characters, solid, they can work. They do work, in fact. So she feels like what a toned down version of like these top tier characters. Like, she feels like what the way they would end up after they're balanced. You know, that's kind of how like I feel that's kind of how like she plays for me, in my opinion. Like, she has a few tools though that are also like weak, some weird hitboxes. Her fireball is definitely a little bit it's definitely really good, but it's unsafe. You know, she has a few things that aren't like impressive, but you know, they work. And she has just a really huge toolkit of things that are just like below average, but I think that kind of just puts her in a spot of being solid all around, you know, just because she has two different sets of moves that she can work with. So once you do master stance switching to use like all your best moves, then she becomes a much better character. So personally, I feel like Beelzebub should be A tier. Maybe like he will be like in the middle, just because of that low damage output. But yeah, now for the characters that were just released, Zeta, I put her in a solid A+ tier. Has a few things weaker than Gran, like her frame data is weaker. It's just that Gran has better like hit confirm routes, better rush down. Gran gets more damage off of more situations. That's kind of like how I think it is. Yeah, she just ended up being slightly worse than Gran. That's okay though, you know, it's a fighting game. So she feels more like the way they want to balance out the game at the end of the month. She feels like she's come from that patch, so she's from the future. Zeta is from the future. So Zeta, and I think the DLC Beelzebub and Narmaya, I think those three are like from the future. They are where they want to take this game. They don't want like their standing mediums and stuff to be too strong. They don't want characters like all these top tier characters like Lancelot, Catalina, Gran, like they don't want that type of rush down to be in this game, like the medium punch one. Like they experiment with these characters, you're like, nah, these are way too strong and are really making these characters really good. They don't want them characters to be able to combo two mediums after each other. you know, that's where I think they're going to take this game. Now, Sori's, I have no clue. I'm just going to put him in B tier. Maybe A? I don't think he's good enough to be an A. He's good in the I have one move that's really effective type of way, you know, the rush thing. But if he did not have like that rush punch, he's like garbage. So anyways, those are my current thoughts on the game. I definitely separate the tiers a lot more than like other people probably would. But, you know, I just wanted to like get my thoughts out there, my current thoughts on the game out there right now. Obviously, I'm not like the best player in the world, but that's kind of how I feel. And for the final part, Zeta and Vazaraga did get buffs. I don't know how good those buffs are. I haven't really messed with them yet. But I'm just going to say Vazaraga gets bumped up like A tier, you know, A tier, maybe A plus, you know. And just for having so many buffs and improvements and making him a little bit more stable. But he's still definitely going to deal with these top tiers. Maybe that would seem a bit different after the next balance patch. But for now, I'm going to put him like in a solid A tier. And Zeta, see, her mediums got buffed, which is really good. That was one of my main complaints before. I haven't really mentioned it in the video, but when I was playing her, I was like, her medium's like super easy for me to get jumped in on if I just like whiff a medium. But now she has like a really good anti-tier and good medium buttons to play neutral, which really helps her a lot. Like, that's really insane. And if she keeps her knockdown and everything like that, like she doesn't really like, because of that, she doesn't really like really need to use like a lot of her unsafe approaches anymore. So I would say she is a solid like A plus, maybe, like just for all the improvements she got. Good anti-tier, her buttons got improved, everything like that. I feel like that definitely puts her in a tier above B, and a little bit higher than that as well. So I think she's really effective now, just from theory. In theory, you know, I haven't played as her like after the patch, and I haven't really saw people play as her, but just from the changes they've made, are like a lot of the ones I wanted to see that she gets like improved. I was kind of like hesitant on giving her too many improvements, because obviously she'll just end up being like any other top tier in the game. But you know, they didn't buff her too much, so it's, you know, just they didn't buff her too much, but they buffed her where she needed it to be consistent and effective. So that's how I feel about Zeta. She got good buffs. I mean, like in my like super like serious opinion, like I'm just like Vazaraga garbage. Ladiva is even worse because no one can play his character properly. Percival is also just bad because people can't play him properly. You know, that's how it would be if I never like watched Japanese players play or anything like that. Even Lancelot would be like a tier lower if I didn't see like top people play him, because Lancelot's I played is garbage. Like, not even a threat. I just hold a block button and like they're done. Like, and I will put like Narmaya in like an A plus because I play the character. I'm very biased towards characters I play, so like the fact that I thought Zeta wasn't really good is normally like a really bad tell for a character being like, it's like a really good tell for a character being bad is when I play a character and I think they're weak, because almost every character I play, I always I don't downplay them. Like, I always think that they're better than they really are. So like for me, like Narmaya would be like A plus. Like, I'm just like, yeah, this character works, but Zeta, nah. I'm just like, because like when I'm playing a match, I'm just like, I'm making these mistakes. These are my mistakes that I'm making, and this is not the character's fault. This is me not utilizing my character in the correct fashion. So that's like kind of how like I feel like when I play a fighting game, because I can notice if I'm in a situation, I'm like, if I just press this, I would have won. Or like if I did this combo better, I would have won. Or if I confirmed this or was more committed to my options, then I'll be much more effective as a player. Like that's like how I feel when I watch myself play. So, or like mid-match, like I'm never ever blaming my character for being bad. But for Zeta, that was like the first time in a long time that I played a character and just like, you know what, maybe she's weak. You know, I tried at the start. I was like, yo, he's definitely good. She has potential. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, wait, let me try other characters in the game. Try the other characters. I'm like, nah, Nah, she doesn't work. She doesn't work. She's not actually good. So yeah, just be wary of like my personal opinions. Like I'll put like Matera like in B tier because people can't play this character. So, you know, I would have did that. Grant, I would have put in S plus because when I played him, whenever I like just mess around all the time, I just don't even have to think and I just win a lot. Same with Charlotta. Like I don't have to think about them when I play as them. You know, this is like I'm moving this turn to like a completely different list. You know, Sorry's probably if I just actually play him, I probably think he's like A tier. But I'm like, nah, I've never played a grappler. I'm never gonna. Zeta's not great. People can't play Percival. People can't play Matera. People always lose to me when they play Valzaraga. People, even though like my normals aren't like super big or anything, I'm playing Narmaya, so like my normals aren't even like super threatening or anything like that as her. Like they're good, but they're not like super oppressive. And it's most of my movement dealing with that matchup, and he's still having a huge struggle. So maybe I'll talk about the characters I want in the game next video. Yep, hope you guys liked the video, and that's it. Later.